harmful to society? Many people would like to say yes, but the problem is we have very little evidence to support this type of claim. In my last video, I focused on two objections about Christianity, or specifically religion, being good or bad for society, which I mainly talked in that video about the sciences and about war. Was Christianity the cause of war, and did it neglect our sciences or make our sciences not improve in any type of way? So that was what my last video was, and now I'm going to be breaking down a few more general things. So let's just jump directly into these next few ideas. A paper in 2009 by APA PsycNet with some of the writers of Brian L.B. And a couple others that were with him published a paper on crime and religion. They show in this paper that religiosity was correlated and associated with lower rates of crime. And in another study by Douglas E. Trimble, he showed religiosity was associated with less drug use and less premarital sex, and had less divorce with people that were religious in comparison to people who were not religious in these areas. Another study by Georgia State University, peer-reviewed research, published with Elizabeth Kelly and Joshua Polenin and Sung Jang, if I'm saying their name correctly, was based on this specific study was with 62 total studies put into a one meta-analysis, finding even more positive results on religion and social outcomes. So I definitely recommend looking into that. Instead of going into every single aspect and every little detail about it, I definitely recommend reading into if someone's interested in seeing the longer drawn out explanations going on here. Also, now with this, many after a few of these examples may bring up other studies that are legitimate, and they show that the opposite of what I'm saying right here. They show negative results about its impacts of other bad things that we see. However, we have to remember how these studies are even produced in the first place. One study does not undermine hundreds of studies or thousands of studies. You would have to add that one study to see how it affects to that data, as in, like, if you were to have all of these results, and then you have one study that concludes a different kind of result, that one study does not override all of the other ones. You would just have to add it to all of the other total studies to get a better meta-analysis of the data that we're looking at here. So the data is clear that religion has and continues to benefit society, regardless of what people think. Another example of religions and the benefit of religion in particular is a paper done by Lee Ellis and James Peterson, again showing that religious belief, or people with religious beliefs, lead to lower crime rates. This was data from 13 industrial nations in the early 1990s, with the findings showing more religious societies have lower crime rates than less religious societies. In other studies, we see from a couple of these other people here, the names I have here are Daniel Weigenbogus, and some of these other names are not, I'm not going to be able to pronounce them correctly, but I can link it in below if someone would be interested in seeing it. But it shows in these studies that people that are religious have more self-control in comparison to people that are not religious. So, combining this with my first video about a couple weeks ago now, we can see that A, religion is not the main cause of war. B, that religion not only has not hurt the sciences, but in fact made them better. And with that, we can also then show from all of these studies combined that I've just described that the social outcomes, whether it be some of our evolutionary impacts, like one of the first ones I mentioned about how people that are religious tend to have more children also, and they have lower divorce rates. This is really important for, the evolution of our species, which is a really interesting thing. Why is it that people that are religious end up having more kids? Um, that's something I haven't looked in with these specific um, claims here, but something I can look into. If anybody has any comments to put on that, they can certainly put below, and I can see what their views are with that. I'd love to hear it. But things like that, we also see where it's correlated with lower crime, which is another awesome thing, as I've stated. And obviously the self-control is really, really big things here. Um, and drug use, that was the other one that I think is really important here. Societies with more religious people are less likely to be involved in drugs and whatnot, which is great. Another one that I have not mentioned here with some of the studies, and I can link these below if anyone would like to see them. But it's the idea that religious people have less depression and anxiety. People that grow up religious and continue their religiosity going, they are less likely to develop depression symptoms and anxiety symptoms, prolonging in their lives. So these are all things that I think really show the great impacts of religion in our society, and we will probably never see religion go or die away simply because of these types of things. I also wanted to give a quick quote by Tom Holland from his book Dominion. He says, quote, "Just as Nietzsche had foretold, freethinkers who mock the very idea of a god as a dead thing, a sky fairy, an imaginary friend, still piously hold to taboos and morals that derive from Christianity. In 2002, in Amsterdam, the World Humanist Congress affirmed the worth, dignity, anatomy of the individual and the right of every human being and the greatest possible freedom compatible with the rights of others. Yet this, despite humanists' stated ambition to provide an alternate to dogmatic religion, was nothing if itself a statement of belief." End quote. This was something here that I thought was really interesting to show that religion is continually to show, even in today, that it is good for society. So thank you guys for watching this. Like and subscribe for more content like this.